All right, I would like to call the May 20th, 2025 meeting of the Townsend Select Board to order. Could I have a roll call, please?
Valerie Good, present.
And Veronica Kell, present. Laurie Schiffern is not able to be with us tonight. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to announce that the meeting is being recorded and will be uploaded to YouTube. Is there anyone else recording? Hearing none, we will move on to chairman's additions or deletions. I have none. Did you have any? Or Sabrina or Valerie?
I mean, I think the only thing I have is that we're gonna wait on the board and committee handbook until after.
Oh, I'd like to start talking about that.
Oh, okay.
Who said we were waiting?
Lori said last time she didn't know if we wanted to wait until after the budget.
I'd like to start talking about it
because
yeah.
That's fine.
All right.
Madam Chair.
Yeah.
The memorial parade announcement. I don't know if you wanted to forget now.
Oh, why don't I do that? Is it at the back with under correspondence?
I have it. It's right in the front.
It's at the front on top. All right. Yeah, let me read this into the record. So I do have an addition here, but it's not really an addition. It's an announcement. The Memorial Day is being observed in Townsend on Sunday, May 25th. Members of Townsend VFW post number 6538 and its auxiliary, American Legion post number 199 and its auxiliary, and DAV chapter 122 will attend the 9 a.m. Mass at St. John's Church in Townsend as a body. 2 parades and a band concert will take place in the afternoon. All marching units will assemble at the VFW Park in West Townsend at 1 p.m. Pastor Jeff Willett will offer the invocation at the memorial service to be held there at 1:30 before the veterans groups, accompanied by the Townsend Military Band, the Townsend Fire EMS Department, the Townsend Minuteman Company, members of the clergy, town officials, and numerous scout groups march east on Main Street to Canal Street. Flowers will be strewn upon the water from a decorated boat during the memorial service at the Canal Street Bridge in honor of those who lost their lives at sea. Pastor David Jakubiak will offer the prayer during the service at the bridge. Following the bridge service, all units will proceed to the Riverside Cemetery for a memorial service. Pastor Jakubiak will give the invocation. The Townsend Military Band will play a hymn. Volleys will be fired by the American Legion post number 199 firing squad, and taps will be played. The parade will disband after leaving the cemetery to later reform at the Spalding Memorial School in Townsend Center. At approximately 2:35, the Townsend Minuteman Company will fire a salute at the Bicentennial Monument in front of the school before the marching units move down Turnpike Road to the Main Street Bridge. Those who lost their lives at sea will also be honored during the Main Street Bridge memorial service, with flowers being strewn upon the water from a decorated boat. Pastor Willett will offer the invocation at the bridge. Following the service at the bridge, the marchers will parade to Memorial Hall for a memorial service. Reverend Dr. Gregory Schmidt will offer the invocation at Memorial Hall. The parade will then pass around the common and go to the Hillside Cemetery for a memorial service where Father Sean Maher will offer the prayer. The Freemasons of the Grand of Massachusetts, who will join the parade at the school, will separate from the other marchers at the cemetery so they may conduct a special memorial service at the grave of Henry Price, the founder of Masonry in America. After leaving the cemetery, the parade will move down Highland Street to Brookline Street and into the Townsend Common. Reverend Dr. Schmidt will give the invocation during the memorial service on the Common, which will be followed by the presentation of the Gettysburg Address by a Boy Scout in Flanders Field by a Girl Scout. The parade will disband after the memorial service at the Civil War Monument on the Common. Townsend's Memorial Day observances will continue as the Townsend Military Band plays a concert on the Common, beginning approximately 15 minutes after the parade's conclusion. Patriotic music and the songs of the various military branches will be performed before the Townsend Military Band concludes its Memorial Day concert at approximately 5 p.m. by playing the Star-Spangled Banner. The Townsend Memorial Day observances will be held rain or shine. It is hoped that many area residents will come out to watch the ceremonies. All veterans and active military, with or without a uniform, and or members of their families, are encouraged to march with the American Legion, Veterans of Foreign Wars, and disabled American veteran members, and to join them in honoring all deceased comrades. So this is this coming Sunday, beginning at 1:30 p.m. At the VFW and proceeding into town, ending on the Common at 5. So, is this going to be put up on the website? Because I didn't see it yesterday.
It's on the website, yeah.
It is now? Okay, good. All right, thank you very much. So that was Chairman's additions or deletions. I don't think anything else on the agenda. We can decide how far we want to go into the board and committee handbook, but I just want to stay at
No, that's fine.
Review and approve meeting minutes, of which there are none. So we will go to 2.1. We have a 6:05, so we're only a minute off. Good. An application for the common vittler license for the ice cream factory, RTJ Concessions Incorporated. So let's make the motion and then discuss. So.
Someone want to tell me how you pronounce exactly?
I call it vittler.
Victular.
Victular. Okay.
I call it vittler.
I looked up earlier and I was like, I actually got 2 different pronunciations on 2 different websites. So I move to approve the common victular license for the ice cream factory, RTG Concessions Inc.
And I will second that. So, any discussion?
Would you like to come to the table, Arjun?
No, I'm excited to join the community. We have a long track record in the food and beverage industry. We purchased the Neshoba Club in Air Mass and 4 years ago and have really turned it around. So hoping to breathe a lot of life back into the ice cream factory. And I know it's a popular spot and everybody was sad to see it close. So happy to keep it rolling.
I think the timing is good.
Yeah.
Because it's ice cream time.
Yes.
All right. So do you want to say a little bit about when you plan to open?
Yeah,
when you hope to open?
Shooting to open on Saturday, as long as all orders come in, and we'll start off with just ice cream and ease our way into the business, and then bring food probably about a month. Give us a month to figure that end out and roll that out, but I promise it'll be good.
Are you going to be open 7 days a week?
That's what we're shooting for. We'll probably be open 5 days a week to start, just to give us an opportunity. Those first couple of days, Monday, Tuesday, probably close just to do projects around the facility. So we did that with the Neshoba Club and it worked really well. Take your slower days and spend those days to revamp and pick up. It's not going to be perfect right off the bat, but we'll get it perfect. So.
All right.
No more questions?
No more questions?
No.
Any questions for us?
No, not at all. I just want to meet you guys and say thank you. So.
All right. So, vote. All those in favor?
Hi.
Aye. Welcome.
Thank you guys.
Yeah,
Appreciate
we're excited to have
We're
you
here.
open.
Yes.
Yeah,
Excited to be a part.
thank you.
Awesome.
Townsend.
Thank you.
Who is presenting from MRPC? Is that an online thing? Oh,
That's okay.
sorry.
No, you're fine.
Okay, that's not till 6:20. So I'm gonna keep on moving down the agenda just in case people are planning to be here for 6:20. So the one thing, so let me move this plan. So every year we appoint, someone as an alternate to MRPC. The planning board appoints the representative for the town. And so, this needs to be done before the end of June. It's effective July 1st through June 30th. And I thought
Who is the current one?
I am the alternate, and I think I was the alternate. Yes, I'm the alternate, and Laurie had been on the planning board, so she was the MRPC rep for the planning board. So anyway, the planning board will have to appoint someone else. So one of us would be appointed as the MRPC alternate. And, you know, I am.
Sabrina, remind me, did Lori say, no, Lori can't be the alternate, correct?
I don't know. Why couldn't she be? She's on the select board.
Well, she's on the MRPC still, though.
Oh, is she the planning board rep still for
No,
MRPC?
but I think she chairs the MRPC.
She does, but I think she does that as the planning board rep.
I'm pretty sure that's how that works. Well, she's not the
So
planning
her
board.
term would end at the end of June unless
She's not the planning board rep anymore. Planning board appointed someone else.
for beginning July 1st. The term is July 1st
Oh,
to
it's
June
July
30th.
1st, Yeah.
I can't remember when we were meeting with Lori if she wanted the alternate position or not.
Say it
You,
again.
when we were talking to Lori, planning out the agenda, I think we talked about this. I can't remember if she said she wanted the alternate position or not.
I will say that I'm very happy to give up the alternate position.
Well, I'm not
So-
saying, I don't remember for the life of me if she said she,
I don't remember either.
yeah.
Could be.
So should we put this off until a meeting in June? We don't need to have this appointed until July 1st.
Yeah, I would hate to appoint the wrong person.
And just in case
Yeah.
she would want to, because she knows
Yeah.
all the ins
Yeah,
and outs.
Yeah,
so,
because I remember talking to her about it when we were planning the agenda, but I can't remember what she said, if she wanted or if she didn't want it.
I'm good with whatever, or if Valerie wants it, it's
Yeah,
Good
but
with
if
me.
Lori's already knows everything about it, then, and she wants it, I don't want to.
It's always interesting though,
Yeah.
to go to the meetings and see what's
I
happening.
get the emails already, so,
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's good.
and I'm fine doing it if she doesn't want to, but.
Okay. Moving on
So
to,
tabled,
pardon me,
tabled.
tabled until a meeting that Laurie is present at.
Or at least until I get confirmation from her. But,
We'd still have to vote it, so.
right,
So it could be a whatever meeting,
Yep,
yeah.
yep.
Yeah. Until check in with Lori. All right, so we will table that until we have a chance to check in with Lori.
Sure.
All right, the next one is to appoint a town representative to the Regional Coordinating Council. Is this the health thing?
Official about health,
Uh,
health equity partnership, just launched a regional coordinating council. Voluntary group dedicated to expanding transportation and independent living options for older adults, low-income individuals, and those with disabilities.
So they sent it to Beth and I believe. And then they had other people listed at the bottom as possibilities, many of whom are no longer
Mhm.
here. Like Rebecca Morse, Eric Slagle, etc. Elise, I think I forwarded it to Elise, or you did, I'm not sure, Nelson. I'm pretty sure I forwarded it to Elise because her name was on here.
yeah,
Um,
you did,
And she said something like, she forwarded it back pretty much.
yeah.
She is one interested in that.
So, yeah, there was a list of potential candidates, but I don't think we can really appoint someone until we get it like almost like a volunteer response form, right?
No, I think we can appoint if we want. If we want to go the volunteer response route, I'm good with that too.
But whoever you appoint, wouldn't they need to accept? You couldn't just,
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
you would want it to be someone who's going to participate.
I mean, with the older adults, low-income individuals, and people with disabilities, I can see why. At least.
Hmm.
But if she's not.
I don't have a response here. I know she responded.
I don't believe I received, oh, I think Jean Erda,
Might have been Jean that responded.
yeah,
Yeah,
she thought,
someone did from,
she thought Kim Craven might be a good person to be on this regional council.
but she's on other things too.
She
So,
is,
it would be good to have a new person, I think. Because the same people wind up all being involved in everything. And so if we could broaden it to more volunteers,
We
that
have
might
the,
be good. Sabrina,
In the original email, it said, that these individuals could be possible members of the RCC, and the recommendation would be from this list of members.
yeah, we've seen that.
Carla Walter, Elise Johnson, James Smith, Jean Erda. Yeah, Kathy Spofford, so on here. Laura Schifrin, Rebecca Morris. Myself.
you, yeah.
I'm on this list.
you want to do it?
Are you
Town
interested?
Administrator and,
Jazz.
Select board member.
I think it would be good for someone from the Council on Aging, you know, someone from the Senior Center or the
Or
Council on Aging.
The Friends of the Senior Center. I mean, I can,
Yeah, the
I
Friends of
can-
the Senior Center.
because I'm the liaison, I can talk to Elise and see who she thinks, see if she can come up with someone, because that does make
Yeah.
a lot of sense.
I think that would fit.
Mhm.
So let's, so Valerie will check in and report back. So let's put this on the next agenda as
Okay.
well.
Okay.
Let's see. All right.
Three point three.
That should be an easy one.
Yeah, let's go with 3.3. This is to appoint a rec kids seasonal employee, et cetera. So is there a motion?
I move to appoint Jody Ellis as the seasonal employee of the Rec Kids 2025 program for spring, fall, winter 2025, as a Rec Kids rec counselor to the Recreation Department with start date 5/23/2025.
A second. My only question is, have all the pre-employment things been met? I'm assuming this went through Callie. And she's handling the onboarding.
See, I'm not 100% sure.
Because there's not a lot of information here.
Yeah, the appointments are usually done contingent upon that all being done.
So should we add that to the motion?
We have not done that in a long time. It's
Okay.
automatically part of the process.
Okay, I guess that's what I'm looking for, because last time I chaired, it was always contingent upon meeting the pre-employment specs. So, okay. So, all right, I seconded it. Any further comments? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And welcome, Jody. So that it is 6:20 or thereabouts, and I think we can go to the presentation of the digital equity plan.
Are you Tracy, by the way?
Yes, I am.
Hi, Tracy. Nice to meet you.
Whatever you want.
I will have the presentation up,
Okay,
so.
all right. Just got some handouts. Thank you. For whatever reason, I couldn't get them. There's three separate handouts. Okay, there's plenty of copies.
Oh.
Yeah,
should we
yeah,
take
yeah,
one and
yeah,
pass
take
it
one
around?
each and.
Okay. You have a folder for Lori, Sabrina?
It was on the library trustees. I know about this
Oh,
because you've
wonderful,
been,
yes, yes.
I hear about it. I heard about
Yes,
stuff
oh,
you've
wonderful.
been around.
Yeah, the
I'll give you
library's,
that back.
thank you, the
Are
library's
these
been
for me?
fantastic.
I think I have one of those. Yep. I have one of those.
All right.
Oh, do you want?
And I can leave them here, okay, I've got, so.
All right, so
All right.
this is the public presentation of the final draft of the Townsend Equity Plan.
Yes.
That's being presented by MRPC.
I'm Tracy Murphy. I'm a senior planner with MRPC. Both myself and Jeff LeGros worked on the Townsend plan along with Gregor Goodlett, our planning intern who's gone off to bigger and better things in New York City.
Oh, wow.
A little bit envious, but anyways. So yeah, tonight we're just gonna talk briefly about digital equity and the parts of the plan. And then we'll talk about some needs, barriers and needs for digital equity and goals and actions. So if you wanna put the first one.
Can I interrupt you for just a
You
second?
sure
I
can.
think Jody
Oh.
just showed up. We should tell her that she's all set.
I am sorry I was late.
No worries. We appointed you as a seasonal employee as well as a rec counselor to the rec department.
Yay. Thank you so much.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
So just in brief, the program overview, this program is done by the Massachusetts Broadband Institute, which is part of the Mass Technology Collaborative. They have a municipal digital equity program, and they also have a municipal digital equity implementation. You have to have a plan before you can have access to implementation funds. This program was funded by the federal ARPA and Infrastructure Investment Jobs Act, and Townsend applied for some technical assistance, and that's why you have MRPC writing your plan. I'm going to the next one. Components of the plan, we do a quick introduction. We go over digital equity. We outline our planning process with our core group of people. We highlight all the existing conditions. And then you have in front of you community needs, which was the chapters based on that assessment. And then we go through the vision, goals, and actions of the plan. Okay, so the next one. So quickly, the Digital Equity Act this came about during COVID. There's a lot of people that didn't have access to computers, to internet and things. I know myself, we had to park my husband's truck on the front lawn and use the OnStar for the internet so my son could go to school. So there's a lot of that, and this just, COVID highlighted it. So the Digital Equity Act, they look at availability, affordability, and adoption to digital access, focusing on covered populations, which are individuals who live in covered households, which is people who live 150% above the poverty rate, aging individuals, incarcerated, veterans, individuals with disabilities, language barriers, or low literacy, racial or ethnic minority groups. And then number 8 is individuals who primarily reside in rural areas, which Townsend is. So the whole town is a covered population according to the Digital Equity Act. Go to the next one. So a little bit on digital equity. You know, it's basically looking at, you know, everybody's access to the internet. Can they afford the internet? Can they afford the devices? And one of the biggest things that we found out was the literacy aspect of it. A lot of seniors, they have some access but they just don't have the literacy. So that's been a huge, pretty much every town that we've worked in, that's been a problem. And libraries and senior centers have been crucial in digital access efforts. We'll go to the next one. So the planning process, there was a public statewide survey that we had brought some placards out and so that we could get some information from people. We did numerous stakeholder interviews. We had focus group meetings. We had one at the Council on Aging. We had one with some social service agencies and veterans groups. And then our core team meetings were great. And I wanted to put who was on that committee because they were all fantastic with information and you know, they were excited about it and it was great. It was actually really good. Go to 4. So the existing conditions is where, you know, we look at a lot of some demographics, but we also look at coverage of internet availability. We also look at the affordability, and you can't really see it unfortunately, but Central Mass is, other than the Cape and Western Mass, is the highest price. And it's mainly because we don't have the choices. So there's not that competition with more choices for internet. So Central Mass was a focus of their implementation program and some of their future ones. So this is just kind of a snapshot. The plan goes a little bit in deeper about the different things. We looked at the specific challenges in the ADA population, just so that the town could get an idea of any special, just some, you know, computer aids and things like that. So we'll go to the next one. And then this is really where a lot of the work, you know, after we did a lot of the assessments, this is where we sat down with a core group and we made up, you know, what are the barriers to the availability to the people within the covered populations, affordability and adoptability. And we saw a lot of consistencies, like I had talked about the senior population. We saw a lot of consistencies with affordability and the digital literacy. We also brought up here some workspaces, some software, upgraded printers and devices, hotspots. Pretty much every library wants to get some more hotspots, just so that people who either can't afford it or have subpar internet service. Expansion of free public Wi-Fi locations. I know the library wanted to have it so that it goes out a little bit further outside, which is great. Affordability, low cost free internet programs. In other towns, we've talked about something similar to fuel assistance, because the internet is that crucial, you know, electricity, fuel, internet. Device distribution programs. However, there is a model out there that you can't just give somebody a device. You got to make sure they know how to use it, because in some cases you're really not helping them. So there's some models out there that they have 8-week courses, and when you get done with that 8-week course, you take the device, whether that be a Chromebook or a laptop or whatever that particular program. There is ISP programs out there that have low cost, but their speeds are low. So it just kind of perpetuates the whole discrepancies in service. And then at the bottom, a lot of need for one-on-one tech help. we found this in pretty much every senior center where people need to sit down with somebody and have them show them how to do it. They also want consistent digital literacy classes because, you know, one class and then you don't have another one for 3 months. It's kind of like, oh, you gotta relearn what you just learned. So there is some programs in the area for digital literacy that are great models that we hope the town will be able to reach out and hook up with. And you can go to the next one. And then the vision that the core group came up with is it's pretty much a vision and a mission. I added a mission to it because it but it's just, you know, the last, you know, providing equity. Digital equity is necessary for civic and cultural participation, employment, lifelong learning, and access to essential services. The purpose of this plan is to ensure that all individuals in Townsend have equitable access to current technology, robust internet service, and training and education to make these tools accessible. Providing these necessary service allows the public to fully participate in our community, society, democracy, and economy, which pretty much encapsulates it all. If you want to go to the next one. So the goals that the group came up with were 5 primary goals that you can see here: improve the effectiveness and efficiency and quality of local initiatives that promote digital equity, literacy, and inclusion; increase access to affordable, fast, reliable internet; expand internet service, which we had talked about at the library; device distribution and digital literacy through community engagement and partnerships, which we hope this plan will help develop some of those partnerships; increase the capabilities of Townsend's technological resources and public digital workspaces; and then seek and secure funding opportunities for investments and long-term support of digital equity programs and services. So under each goal, there's probably 5 actions. In the next slide, I actually just put one action that was under each goal. And one of the ones that we talked about a lot with the core group were identify and train a digital navigator at each anchor institution. And an anchor institution is your town hall libraries, your main places where you interface with the public, so that if somebody comes in and has a difficulty doing something, that somebody there is a qualified trainer. Second one was evaluate and create spaces for connectivity in anchor institutions that include workspaces, devices, charging station, and audiovisual capabilities. They had talked about one of the pod type of a structure that you can go in and you can have some privacy. There's so many doctor's appointments and things now online. You know, somebody needs to come to a public area to access devices and the internet, you know, just a little bit of privacy. Create electronic and printable versions of local digital resources mapped for distribution and display, including installing kiosks if you have to at the community anchor institutions and public outdoor spaces. So that's basically, you know, just letting everybody know where there's a digital navigator, where there's, you know, free Wi-Fi, where there's charging stations and the such. And 4, purchase additional Wi-Fi hotspots for the library. That was one thing that they had specifically brought up. And then number 5 is coordinate with Mass Hire Central Mass Career Center and making opportunity count to understand existing digital literacy funding mechanisms and sources to best plan for future digital access needs. Both Mass Hire and Making Opportunity Count offer digital literacy. And right now they're trying to come up with a framework to kind of offer it in a broader scale. Making Opportunity Count is the one that they did a senior pilot with the 8 weeks and gave away a laptop. And they did that, I think, 2 or 3 rounds, and it was filled up every time. So, if they could continue that, that would be great. And then, of course, Mass Hire, it's, working age. They also do some with, seniors and, veterans. They help a lot of veterans.
Is that the Career Center in
Yeah.
Leominster?
Yes,
At the Mount
Yes.
Wachusett?
yes. And the Mount Wachusett is the one that does a lot of the curriculum for the digital literacy. So there's some great partnerships that are starting to evolve, and hopefully smaller towns on the periphery will be able to join these networks of training. So that's the goal.
I don't know when do you want questions?
Oh, you can ask them anytime you want.
So the working group up there, are
Mhm.
they the ones who are going to be working on the actions for implementation?
Well,
Or how does this
yeah,
get
so
implemented?
so
But if there's more in the presentation.
there isn't. So on the digital equity action plan, which is these implementation, these are the actions. Potential leads, the core group came up with potential leads on these. Nothing is written in stone, but when something comes up that pertains to the library, then the library should be leading the charge. There is some IT for the town or town administration, but it's in general. Rec center, I think that's COA, VFW. Let me see if there's anybody else. That's pretty much, TEO, the ecumenical outreach. Was one that with this coordinating with Mass Hire, they're on that too. So but these were all the group just kind of, there isn't any, you have to do this. This is potential leads that, can bring, to at least start the conversation in-house. And then funding programs. We're probably gonna have to update that, because if you wanna go to the next slide. The public comment for this starts, tomorrow and ends, you can ignore that, June. It's June 3rd. And then any comments we get, I'll meet with the core group, we'll go over them if they're substantive. And then you'll submit the final plan to MPI for approval. Ordinarily, I would say that, then you apply for some implementation funding and things, but they canceled it last Friday. So we're still looking for different, like, community compact, IT grants, things like that. We're trying to find some alternatives. Pretty devastating. We had,
Cause you guys have been working on this for a year, right?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
And there are some towns that got into the game a little bit quicker than Townsend, and they had funds committed and for implementation. Those funds are protected. It's the ones that aren't, because the ones that are protected are from the ARPA funding, and then the others are from different funding that got pulled back. So, the future, the name of the program, Digital Equity. So we know, we've known that, I know I'm discouraged, to be honest with you, because we saw so much that could be done for so many people. There's a Launchpad program that they pulled out from underneath us that I had, written a concept to put internet mesh networks in town commons and town centers, and things like that to, festivals, people need internet for their, economic viability, and things like that. So
Townsend doesn't have the best cell service.
yeah. So we're kind of, I wish I had better news, you still have a plan so that when other programs come up, and we are actively looking for other plans, other funding sources, to recommend, but we were pretty devastated as, for our communities. Yeah, I wish it was better, but, but get this approved from MBI and you have a plan that you can use to fund through other programs. So if you have any questions.
So just to comment.
Sure.
If people are going to comment on the plan,
Mhm.
I guess my first question is, where do they get a copy of the plan to read through? And then it would be, who do they comment
Yeah.
to?
Yeah.
Where
I think-
do comments
Yeah.
get submitted? So if you could address that,
Yeah,
that would be
you
good.
wanna, go ahead.
The copy is available on the website.
It's on
And
the
I believe the
website.
comments go,
Section,
the
yeah.
do the comments go to you or to Jeff?
The comments,
And here it goes to,
yeah, who do you want to
Sabrina.
go to?
Yeah, it can come, they can come right to MRPC.
So to Jeff's.
To Jeff or to,
Add
or,
Jeff's email
yeah,
to
or me.
Okay.
Yeah, cause we're both
Alright, I'll
working
add
on
that
this
to it
plan.
then tonight, yeah.
Okay.
so where on the website can people find it?
It's on the news section.
Okay.
As a news article on the website.
Great.
Does anybody have any other questions?
I'm sure people that are involved in task force will start looking at other grant sources,
Mhm.
hopefully.
Yeah, I hope so. You know, I'm hoping that the community compact IT will get funded extra, yeah, extra, but, you know, just to kind of cover some of this, but there's a lot of good work being done, you know. and
Especially in a Townsend, not everybody has high-speed internet access
Mm-mm.
that even they can get if they can afford it at their house still.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So. Okay, well, thank you, and if
Okay,
you
thank you very
think of
much.
any questions later, Sabrina has my email.
Thank
Please
you
feel
so much
free. Oh, you're
for all the
welcome.
work too. I
Oh,
know that there's a lot of people involved in it.
Yeah,
and it was-
yeah, no, the group, I have to tell you, the Townsend group's been fantastic. Library especially, they've really been involved. It's been a great experience, so.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're
Thank
welcome.
Thank you, Tracy.
Alrighty. Have a great night.
You too.
Thank you.
You too. So we're gonna move on to 4.1, discussing the charter references and policies. There's no motion there, so I think we'll just have a discussion and then see if we need a motion. Laurie had gone through all the policies 2 meetings back, I think it was.
Gave the dates.
Yeah, and I think maybe what we should just do as far as the charter references go is just to take maybe 5 of them or 10 of them. Do we want to do that? Do we want Sabrina to do that? Do we want, who goes through and does this is what it comes down to. How,
I think, it's not necessarily a heavy lift, it's, you're just looking for every time it references, you know, whatever we're targeting to then change it.
I guess the question is, do we want to do this as we update policies? Or do we want to look at the old policies and get them updated with this? I guess that, I mean, it's just a, how do we want to do it? What
I
makes
guess-
sense?
I guess are we thinking that we'll get through all the policies this summer?
There's a lot.
There are a ton of them. I think it would be good to get through them if we work diligently. I mean, some of them might not have any charter references. I think we can get through it if we do that. So, you know, I wouldn't mind, I could take like ABCs, you know, and then someone else take DEF, EIG. We go through them, we identify the charter references and see what needs to be updated. And then just keep on going like that. That's one way. There are a lot of ways that we could do this.
And I think a lot of the policies, they also reference, you know, the selectmen versus the select board.
Right, so we need to do, actually, those are 2 of the things on my Board of Selectmen to Select Board. The other one was charter references, that's more inside. But for this board and committee handbook, so it's the same thing for the policies. And those are, I think, the first 2 things that need to be done. And then as we're doing that, we'll be looking at the policies and we can see if there's any content that needs to be addressed. Because some of these are 20 years old, you know?
Does it make sense to divide them up 3 ways? And then as we get to them, whoever had it takes initiative of what they think might be relevant to change or update.
And put that on the agenda to have done. Yeah. Sabrina, what were you gonna say?
And contact info too, sometimes email addresses or phone numbers are.
Oh, yeah.
Policies and they're not.
Those probably shouldn't,
updated anymore.
nobody's individual
Yeah.
phone number, email should be on the
And
policy.
the address for email changed in like 2020, 2021, soon after I became a selectman the last round. So it might have been 2020, fall of 2020 or so, that the whole email stream, it was townsend.ma.us before, and now it's townsendma.gov. That changed. So there's probably that. So should we just
Divide them up.
divide them up?
Mm.
So where do we want to, you know, I didn't boot up yet, to look at it. What makes, let me see that. I don't have my list from Lori. Let's go in tens. You take the first 10, I'll take the next 10. And some of these we can, like the ARPA policies, we can just, you know, take them out, retire them, because they're no longer applicable.
But for the sake of historical knowledge, should they still sort of be on there in case we?
Maybe under archive, just not on the main page.
Just not on the main page. Yeah, we could do an archive, and then where we have policy date and the, you know, if it was changed or whatever, amended policy, we could put retired with the date.
Yeah.
And a reason for retirement. This was for ARPA funds that are no longer available, or something like that.
Archive, open the webpage, open the website.
I would just move them down to the bottom and make a, you know, or an archive policies, or a separate selectmen's policies archived, or something like that.
There's 48.
There are 48, so
should have
16 each.
16 or 18,
16.
16 each. So you want to take the first 16?
Oh, that might not be very fair. Those are all mostly ARPA.
Only 3 of them.
Maybe
So
we should
you-
give Lori the first 16 because she's got more.
All right, let's give Laurie the first 16,
I'll do the second 16.
and I'll take the last 16.
And then when we
And-
get to the point of reviewing, that individual can take initiative to
Yes.
whatever they think needs to be changed or updated or discussed.
So we're looking for BOS to select board. We're looking for charter references. And we're looking for anything else out of date.
And are we concerned that the charter references are incorrect?
Pardon me?
We should concern the charter references are incorrect.
Yes, yeah, the reference might not be to anything, or it might just need updated, or, yes,
Contact information.
contact it. So anything else that's out of date would be things like contact information, people's names, jobs, email addresses, that sort of thing, anything like that. And then we'll bring them back if need be. So, Sabrina.
You're going off the current list that's on the website, that we
Yes.
determine that that's complete, or
Yeah, and I will compare it to
the
the,
newer ones were already done, pretty much.
say that again,
The newer policies we've had looked at
the ones that,
was already looked at for that part, right?
yes, yeah, we updated things as we went through. So, yes. So some of the 16 might be ones that have been updated recently. There are also some policies that are missing. I think there was a Medicare policy or something like that that was put in place. There were a couple of them that were new policies that were made when I was no longer a selectman that I found going through old minutes, and they aren't up on the website. So those we need to get up on the website.
Yeah, actually, I don't think the meeting hall policy is up there, is it?
The what?
The meeting hall policy?
It is, but it's in a separate, tab, it's not under selectmen policies. It's under, a room, like a room rental.
On the left sidebar.
Yeah, it's under the drop down on the website.
Yeah.
Navigation.
This is Memorial Hall,
Yeah,
the meeting
but
hall policy.
The edited one is not up there yet.
Okay. So while we're talking about this and edits, this is a little off topic, but not really. For website updates, how are we handling that? Are there people in each department that are going to be trained to update? I mean, I know Sabrina can update for us, but what about for other departments?
I think the skill level is uneven, I feel, across departments. Some are stronger than others, so I think having a refresher course wouldn't hurt. I think in the past we've relied, on the webmaster to sort of do those responsibilities. So the certain departments, relied on them a little bit more than they should have versus learning it. I think it's a good skill to have. You can update things a lot quicker, but I can see, it's not necessarily the most user-friendly system if you're not used to, say, updating websites or making edits. So I do think there's some improvement to be made in that area in terms of uniform training, as well as getting everyone to the same skill level that they can sort of do it, pretty independently versus relying on a webmaster to update websites.
We don't have a webmaster as of the end of we don't have a webmaster period, but we do have people that update the website. But after the end of May, we don't.
Right, and that's something we would need to look at the job description, and then if the select board is in agreement, we'll post it internally to see who might be interested in the position.
Yeah, we talked about this last meeting, right?
I think 2 meetings ago.
Kind of vaguely. I think we need to sort of really dive into the job description, see if we need to make any tweaks, or sort of what the expectations are.
So can we put that on this is away from policies, really, but put that on a future agenda.
I think so.
Okay. All right, back to the policies. So I'll do the last 16. When do we want to report back? I like deadlines. So we should, because this should be then or do we want to make it
Part of the policy review?
Are we gonna, yeah.
We're doing that this summer.
Yes, yeah. We should have a policy review work session, maybe, might be the way to do it.
Yep.
Maybe after annual town meeting.
Yes.
Probably reset in early July.
Okay, that sounds good. If I don't have a deadline, I won't do it until, so early July.
Yeah, so that gives everyone.
That way I know that
solid month.
I can.
Yeah, you can just whittle
Right,
down
right.
your list.
But if I don't have a deadline, I'll do it way more slowly if I have a deadline. All right. Where did I see that? Discuss charter references in policies. All right. So, take care of that. Anything else?
No.
All right, 4.2, review and sign the Weston and Sampson contract for well replacement at the landfill. Is there a motion?
I move to approve the Weston Sampson contract for well replacement at the landfill.
And I will second that. All right, is there a dollar amount in here? And does it match what's in the omnibus budget?
So the
Oh,
amount.
this is well replacement. This is different.
Yeah, so it is part of, it is replacing some wells, for the landfill. I think it's part of the ongoing monitoring and reporting of the landfill. There's a lot of environmental, requirements for this capped landfill. The amount is for $69.95.
This is separate from that, though. It's not part of this looks like it's separate from, we pay an annual amount to Weston and Sampson to monitor the old landfill.
Yes, I believe Weston and Sampson is the firm that does that. So I don't know if this is additional services, that's
Repair replacement services.
that's kind of above and beyond the routine stuff. But it's certainly required for the health and safety of the monitoring of the.
The Board of
capital.
Health has already signed it.
They have, and we've found funding sources. They're
That
gonna
was the
use.
question.
Yep. They have some capital money set aside to do, landfill related activities, as well as some current operating money that they have as well under professional services.
Okay, that was the question. Where is the money coming from?
Yep. So those are the two sources. Town council has reviewed the contract and they do approve to the form of it. So, and I think the county signed off on it this morning as well. So, Board of Health has signed off on it.
It does say subject to appropriation, so I always look at that.
Okay.
So you guys can probably sign it out of session because there's a new version floating around. I would hate for you to sign this version and then having to re-sign it again.
Even though. Okay,
Because there's been some activity since, I think, this morning or afternoon.
has this changed then?
No, nothing has changed. It's just that more people have signed it. The town accountant signed off on it earlier today, and
Town council.
town council signed it first thing this morning.
Okay.
So, I will give you like the actual version.
My name is definitely spelled wrong, but that's okay.
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay, so.
It's okay.
Okay.
I've been called worse.
We will, you can either cross it out or.
So I fill into the good.
Well,
ones or
we need a different one that we're signing anyway.
Yeah.
So,
I can, that's fine, I might change that.
so if you can just amend your motion to, sign it out of session or something like that.
Yeah, sure. I move to approve Weston Sampson contract for well replacement at landfill, to be signed out of session.
I'll second that.
And there was an attachment on the last page of it with the scope. Or it's like it's mostly related to reports. So.
I think this is in addition.
Yeah.
This is in addition to what they typically do. So this is in addition. All right, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, next one. Okay, great. Do we have anything?
Yep, I do have something to share, and it's hot off the presses because the Energy Committee met at 3 today, and then Ron came up to my office around 4 to share with me what they recommended. And he also provided me with a document, which I will share.
All right,
with
great.
everyone at the moment. So the technical assistant categories related to the green community grants is there's like 2 sections. There's a section 1, and it's broken down into further subsections. And what Ron and Mike had thought would be most appropriate for us is subsection 2, which is to support existing green communities with annual reporting and preparation, grant application, and regional school district inclusion. And then there's 2 subcategories. So the first one is assist with the application itself, which they have done for us. And then the second portion is assist with the annual report preparation. That's also a requirement for each grant. So MRPC has done a great job in these 2 areas over the last few years. So we would like to continue utilizing them, for the next round of funding.
Is that round 10 years? So this is for MRPC support for us, for green communities.
Correct.
And I believe it was a 10-year prior. Is this next round also 10 years? Not for the green communities itself, but for support of green communities.
Let me see if I have additional information regarding that. I'm not sure if it's.
I think it was in that email that Karen sent.
I'm looking for it now.
And Valerie, I don't know if you got it or not. Do you get the stuff from Karen Chapman for DLTA grants and all of that?
It did not say that this was like a 10-year type of arrangement.
But it's not for green communities itself. It's for support for towns to apply for green communities.
Correct. Yep. MRPC would be, assisting us with these green community tasks.
I dig it.
You did get it?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
I don't think there was a time period involved.
Yeah, it just says if you're like participants for please apply.
Yeah.
If you're interested. Once you apply, you're interested in which tasks we'll drop a contract to have signed.
Okay, so these are the tasks.
Yep.
Okay.
And as I mentioned, the green highlighted ones were the ones that the Energy Committee recommends that we have MRPC assist us with.
Okay.
And I agree with them. These 2 categories have been something that MRPC has been assisting us for many years now.
Yeah.
So who needs to get back to them?
I can certainly do that. Karen Chapman was the one that originally sent out the email, so I
On the
can.
6th.
Yep, and I can get back to her.
Our current grant is set to expire at the end of May. The application is due May 30th. So she will, if you send it to her, it looks like, as with previous grant applications, we must submit MOUs fully executed between each of the communities seeking assistance and MRPC to submit with our application. So, yeah, I guess what you said, getting back to Karen, and then she'll provide the MOU.
Yep, and I can sign it, so if you guys wanna sort of make a motion to, you know, for us to, submit a MOU for those, you know, those subtasks, as well as, signing the, you know, the contract once they draw it up.
So we would give, the TA signatory authority for the MOU.
Mhm.
To provide assistance with two tasks.
Yeah.
Discussed.
All right, so do we need to,
I can try first.
all right,
I move to approve, designate the TA to sign an MOU, Green Communities Technical Assistance work with PC. For, to assist with, the competitive grant application preparation and annual report preparation. As discussed.
second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Moving on to 4.4, the boards and committees handbook. I wanted to just get started with this today for kind of same as the public policies. I guess my first question is, and this might be for you, Sabrina, do we have a doc for this, or do we just have a PDF? This looks almost like it's a mimeograph thing. I mean, it looks sad old. Do you have something that can be edited?
I can check, but my guess is no. If then probably the town clerk would have it.
Okay, so the second paragraph of this handbook says, this handbook has been prepared by the Board of Selectmen as a general informational aid to all town committees and boards. And I know when I've been on a committee, not the select board, but any other committee or planning board or conservation, I've always received a copy of this. And Callie has sent them out, usually at the beginning of the fiscal year. She sends out a big, you know, mailing with all of the policies. It was in there. I have it from, she did send this out. As
a library trustee, I've never received this.
really?
9 years.
Wow, I have.
And the list of other policies that apply to board and committee members.
You've never received it?
Never received it. And I went down to the town clerk and they've checked my file and I'd never signed that I'd received this. So I brought it up in the interest of us looking at it, but also finding a way to make sure all current board and committee members have reviewed this, as well as all the other policies that apply to board and committee members. Because I think there's a lot of the policies that are in the personal handbook that specify applying also to elected and appointed boards.
Okay, so this was sent out on 7/3/2024. Annual reminders sent out from Callie. I don't know because it's to Callie, so it's BCC. So I don't know who all, but number 1 is attached, applicable to all, Townsend Committee and Board Handbook. Second thing, Townsend Meeting Decorum and Order Policy. Third thing, Townsend Remote Participation Policy.
Never received any.
Fourth thing, Member Guide for Members of Public Boards and Commissions per Inspector General, June 2023. 5th, open meeting law guide and educational materials per Attorney General, December 2023. And the last thing was the conflict of interest law training and summary, distributed annually by the town clerk's office. So all of that went out, and all of the attachments are right here. I just don't know what her distribution is. And I've gotten this every year. Well, she's been here, 2 years now, maybe 3 at the most. Every July, I've gotten this mailing from her, but I don't know who it goes to. Those are the annual reminders. And then the onboarding kit, which has also been sent to me. I've gotten it twice, 3/7/24. That was probably when I started as the updating the website for that brief period of time while revise was being put in place. So
Yeah, I wonder if, because I talked to other trustee members, some had received this, but none of them had received any of the other things. So I just somehow want to make sure, because I think there's.
do the trustees get sworn in?
Yeah. So then that was kind of my point, is if the point person for all appointed and elected boards is the town clerk, if they can work with HR to make sure that initial packet of information contains everything they need, at least we have that first. We know people got it the first time.
Here's the other date I got it was August 10th, 2023. And I think that Callie started in around April of 2023. It was right near the end of my term as a select board member before. So I get it every year.
You got it every year?
Yeah, and it's BCC.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it is part of the process from HR, because it was with the town clerk, and I believe there was some discussion there, but I don't know where that ended off, but that's still being distributed.
Well, I think it should be sent out by HR to all boards and committee members at the start of the fiscal year.
But then who edits it?
We do, because it's, we edit it.
I think the trick too is I think it should be, I think the town clerk should work with Kelly to make sure it's literally a packet that people that sign that they got the entire.
Yeah.
Because it was a silly thing. I was looking at the social media policy, and it applies to all board and committee members in addition to employees.
Yes.
Because I think with some of the debates that are going around in town, it's important to realize that that policy applies if you're on a board or committee.
I think the social media policy should be included in here as well.
And so in the policy handbook, it specifies board and committee members are included.
Yes.
So, but I had to go look for that. That was my point.
As far as distribution of this goes, I think it should be handed out when you're sworn in. I know I've always received it then, along with the open meeting law.
I did the
handbook.
open meeting law. I've always done in ethics training. Those are in my file, but this never was. So
I always get the open meeting law when I'm sworn in. And anyway,
so I just don't know if the two,
and
if the two of them can get together to make this more complete.
I think she's sending it out soft copy. So there is a soft copy, at least in PDF form, attached. Yeah, it's in PDF form, right here. And I don't know if it has a date on it, but I think that getting it when you are sworn in is appropriate, hard copy. And then I think Callie's sending this out once a year, which she did do in August of 23. And I wasn't on the select board then, but I was housing trust. So, and then again, sending it out in, sending it out at the beginning of the fiscal year, soft copy. But when you're sworn in, receiving it hard copy.
So this is just an example. So the select board passed requirements for all meetings to be on Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
And trustees never
Never got it. I don't know what distribution
So, and so I'm wondering what other boards and committees just haven't.
right, that's possible. I mean, who gets like when the legislature says, or the governor, I've just extended this to 2028 or whatever. Who, and we know that as the select board, who sends that out to all the boards and committees for remote meetings? Are we as the select board supposed to be directing that to happen?
I would think that would be the town clerk. I mean, if they're in charge of keeping a record of all contacts for boards and committees, and I think that's why I was saying I think HR and town clerk have to work together to figure out how best, and even I know employees have to check that they've read all of those policies and sign.
Yes.
And even if committee members want to bring it back at a different time, so that's kept downstairs because we all have to file board and committee members to say that they've accepted all those terms.
Just a side note, the board and committee members do not go to HR.
Yeah.
Because they volunteer.
So that I know, because I know we all have file downstairs, all the board and committee members, so.
But Callie does send out to board and committee members, because I got it in August of 23. And I got it in, and I
Yes,
wasn't
that's what I was
an
thinking.
elected
Harrison and
official at
Kelly need
all.
to get on somehow, because I think the town clerk keeps the record of contact information for all the boards and committees. And if that's not synced up with HR, I think it's just getting missed, so.
But I did get it as being, I wasn't an elected anything in 8/23 or 7/24. I was appointed, but I wasn't elected.
And I
And I
was
wasn't-
elected and I didn't get it.
Yeah, and I
So-
wasn't appointed to positions that would otherwise be elected positions. They were volunteer position only.
So
You
maybe
know,
we can just get them to coordinate that. Nelson.
yeah, maybe coordinate the mailing lists.
Mhm.
And actually it
packet
is the
that
town
gets-
clerk that should update that, because they keep track of who the appointed and elected officials are. And that should be updated more than once a year.
Yeah.
Even on the website. Maybe a quarterly, or at least halfway through. So anyway, I think we should get started on this, on making these changes. And all of the Board of Selectmen references should be changed to Select Board. And then going through and identifying if the town charter is referenced, whether or not that reference is correct, would be good. Beyond that, we can put this into our work session when we do policies, do the policies and then put this in. Because I think other than that, everything is pretty much under the same stuff. The email addresses, we could look for that to make
This
sure.
seems to be before that.
The content update for you mentioned social media policies.
Yeah, I think just whatever policies are in the whatever personnel handbook policies apply to board and committee members.
Meeting and forum policy.
Yeah, I think there's a couple other things like the sexual harassment policy, all those things apply, and I've never accepted them. I had never accepted them as a previous board.
Wow.
So I think my guess is a lot of board members have never received
Have
those.
never done that, yeah. Okay, so who is making the updates on this?
Is it in the 16? Which one is it?
What do you mean, which one is it?
Board and committee handbook?
The board and committee handbook, 4.4.
Yeah, no, I was wondering who has it assigned to them.
I don't think it's on there.
No, it isn't.
It's a separate entity, so
I can look at,
it's not a policy.
I can look through it,
You wanna look through it? Okay.
find all the things I've been missing all these years. 9 years of not knowing. I mean, like I say, we've
It's
always
the-
taken the online state training, that's not a problem, it's just the Townsend specific stuff.
It's the town clerk who has given me this when I've been sworn
Yeah.
in. And it's Callie who sent it out annually. And why I'm on a list that you weren't on, Valerie, I don't know.
Mm.
Because it's BCC'd and I don't know what the list is. But it's her annual send out of everything.
Okay, I'll look through it.
Okay.
I'll add to our list.
It's the beginning. Annual reminder. Says, attention all committee and board chairs. On the one on August 10th, 2023. So maybe she just sent it out to chairman.
I
I'll
was,
have to.
I was chair.
You were the chair. It says attention all committee and board chairs. This was August 10th, 2023.
I can talk to Callie tomorrow, see
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
she's
We'll
sent
work
it out to.
work with
Yeah.
town clerk to see.
I think it's a good thing that she sends it out.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I
just a
do.
reminder, but just that first point person, as long as everything's there.
Right, right. And maybe she should add some direction, because if she's only sending to board and committee chairs, please, pass this on to your, board members.
Mhm.
Okay, that's all I have there. No motion.
Nope.
All right. So what does this say? Oh, is this from you? Questions, boarding committee?
Yeah, that's just, I had those questions for Harrison and Kelly. So maybe,
I don't know why you weren't receiving it
yeah,
from,
well, yeah, and so that was just,
I even got it when I was sworn in for Conservation Commission, like back in 2014. I got this, so. So it was a surprise to me that.
I know.
that you
well,
did
that's surprise to me too.
it. Okay. All right, and this would be part of the policy discussion in July. Okay, I'm looking at this email from October of 23. This was after we passed the meeting decorum and order policy. And you had asked that this be posted, and it says Kathy has some more changes to make. Did anything ever happen with that?
There was a motion, August 22nd, 2023. Meeting decorum added to the board committee handbook passed.
Okay, and then this must be your follow-up to it then, Sabrina, this email.
I had started editing it
Uh-huh.
per vote, and then, the town clerk informed me that it's the town clerk's purview to edit it.
Where does she get that from? I guess.
Smith was the town clerk.
And because it was the consent.
I guess then the question is, if this board committee handbook is,
It's really the selectmen that make the decision on boards and committees and how they operate, right?
well, then I've also, some board and committee members that have talked to, like, some of it is per their individual, like, so each board and committee can set its own public comment policy, for example.
Yes.
So I guess the question is what's ours and what's theirs? And I think clarifying that would be
Okay.
helpful.
Maybe we should all look at that.
So who are the originators of this? Was it the select board?
It's the
Was it?
select board. But you do have to have it in conjunction with the town clerk, because the town clerk swears everybody
Yeah, yeah,
in.
of course. And so,
Um,
and just specifying what things are,
And what is town clerk?
because the meeting decorum policy seemed,
Is it in here? Did it get?
it wasn't in here, it's a separate document. Some of the things seemed like they should be under purview of the board and committees themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know if that was the jurisdiction of select board to do or not, so I'm not sure. TBD, I guess.
Okay. I'm gonna look through this too.
Yeah.
Maybe we all look through it.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on from that. Fiscal year 26 omnibus budget. So where do we stand with all that?
So I think we should have a joint meeting, I feel, with the finance committee to sort of at least come to some consensus on, some of the cuts to the budget, with the understanding that personnel cuts is within, it's that's really the purview of the select board to make those decisions in terms of personnel and where there might be either layoffs or, reductions in wages or, hours. I think we can all agree that really lies within, the select board's, umbrella.
So I guess, we've already discussed that topic. But I'm wondering, I go back and forth because we really do want that webmaster posted, because otherwise we really don't have anybody updating our website, which is really bad because we don't have I thought we voted to post that, but I guess we didn't. Did we?
No, because I don't think we dived into the job description itself.
I know I brought the job description and I had pointed out a few things. I think I gave it to you, Sabrina, at the end of that meeting, right? The job description and the posting that we did last time, but there were things that needed to be changed because it was a Civic Plus. But anyway, what I'm saying is, I think that we as the select board should make a motion to do a hiring freeze. Any positions that are not open, that are not hired as of today, don't get hired. And that could, we have another 100,000. The cuts that we had discussed previously didn't include the additional 100,000 that we need now that we don't have access to the ARPA funds that we thought we were going to have.
Correct.
And so I'm wondering if a hiring freeze, and I think we have to vote that. I don't think it can be a wishy-washy thing, but I'm wondering if a hiring freeze will take care of enough other positions. Like, are there positions in police? We know there's one that wasn't hired. Is there positions in fire that are open? Get on the web right now.
I know.
What do we have posted? And if we do that, can we get the 100,000 that,
There's no other, the only two positions that are on the website right now are the animal inspector, and, a recycling center attendant. So not really anything of consequence. The recycling attendant is paid for through revolving funds, and the animal inspector salary is too low for anyone to take. By the way, I did speak, with our current animal control officer.
mhm,
The animal inspector position is, in their opinion, too low, given the amount of work that is needed. It's currently advertised for 1,200 for the year.
right.
They really think, something like 2,500 is more reasonable, given, the amount of work that's needed.
I think in that case, we're not hiring.
Maybe not, but
It was 600, right? And we upped it to 1,200.
right, and no one's interested, and speaking to the animal control officer, they feel 2,500 is really what this needs to be at to generate some interest, and this individual would be willing to take it on at that rate. But the budget is only at 1,200. So it kind of puts us in a pickle. We haven't had an animal inspector for a number of years now. We really do need someone to pick up some of those responsibilities that have been, neglected.
Well, the webmaster is another position like that, where it's something that we do need, so I wouldn't want to freeze that position. But I think it pretty much comes down to if anybody retires or if anybody leaves a position. I think we need a motion to not rehire. Because it provides us a savings. In other words, I would rather do that than do something like say, okay, we're going to do a wage freeze for FY26 because it's the only way we can come up with the 100K that we need. Because we had a budget that we thought would work for town meeting in May. We still have that budget, the budget that we thought would work. We haven't changed that budget. At least I haven't been in a meeting where that budget has changed.
No, nothing has changed.
So we have that budget, but now we need an additional 100,000. We were just going to take that 100,000 and apply it to highway because they had greater than 100,000 on their line.
Yeah,
And that was a department that we aren't gonna gut because we can't do that. And so we would have to bring that back in FY27. And we would have to do that. So, but we still need 100,000 in salary cuts. So do we say no COLA across the board? Of course, that is again something that has to be bargained. What I'm saying is, if we institute a hiring freeze that affects any position that is vacated or any position that someone retires from, going forward till further notice, could we get that 100K that we need in salary dollars without getting rid of anybody or not instituting salary freezes?
What about if it's like a critical position in town?
What is a critical position?
Say, sorry, police chief, I'm gonna pick on you, say, found a different position, the police chief. That probably is something that we couldn't not hire for.
Well, yes, I guess that is saying that.
Yeah.
That would take care of the 100K.
No, but I'm just saying, or something like that, like you can't,
But we could have someone be an acting chief an existing, I don't know, someone on the force could step up.
I think the hiring freeze, given, we're only like a month and 10 days before the end of the fiscal year, I don't anticipate anything, a retirement or vacancies suddenly that comes up that would fit this description. And even if it did, HR is the only one that kind of vets the job description and the posting in order to get posted onto the website.
Yes.
So we have that flexibility to make those decisions at that time.
To not post.
Yeah. So
if something would come up.
So I think, making like, a motion or a blanket statement at the moment, kind of maybe, I would advise against that because we already kind of have the flexibility to, post jobs already.
Okay, so I guess what I want to know then is we're 4 weeks out from town meeting. We have to post our budget in 3 weeks. What are we doing?
So, sort of looking just slightly ahead at meetings, we do have a meeting scheduled for June 3rd.
I'll be attending remotely.
I bumped into Don Hayes this morning. I kind of floated the idea of potentially a finance committee joint meeting that night. We can certainly do an out of cycle meeting as well, between us and them. But that certainly is, a good night to have a joint meeting. And I think
Nelson and I talked to you about how to communicate to FinCom where we think how to, instead of we had kind of grouped things together, maybe doing it by segment, possibly, whatever. If we have to take 5,000 off of the segment.
And put that under the segment.
Yeah.
And then new segment amount.
Yeah, so that we don't have to
zero out anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But I think, are we planning on having an executive session to?
I think we have to, and I think that night, that's probably gonna be a long night. I think there needs to be an executive session portion so that we can.
Do we need to do one before that for?
That's what I think. I think we need to have an executive session prior to the joint meeting with FinCom. I just see time moving away.
Right.
And we really need to have this discussion. Mm-hmm. That's all.
Right. So I think, the third, I think is the night to at least have the executive session discussions as well as talking to the finance committee.
So we probably want the executive session before
the finance committee meeting.
Yeah. So we can probably start the meeting a little bit earlier since we're just opening the meeting, going into the executive session and then coming back into open session.
For the joint meeting.
Yeah.
And I would post an executive session for after as well.
After.
If there's any changes.
Yeah, in case any insights or further things.
Do we have it on here? Do we want to discuss it at all tonight or?
No,
we have an executive?
It says executive session.
No.
We don't have a.
Oh, it's fine. Sorry.
Yeah, it's not.
Sorry.
So backing up, the annual town meeting is on the 18th. I think I agree that we should post the new budget by the 11th. So I think it is very doable to post a budget by the 11th. There may be one or two potential out of cycle meetings that we need to have to sort of hash things out, but I think it's doable. It's going to be a busy early June for us, but I think it's doable.
And is there anything you're working on Nelson with departments or anything in the meantime?
No, everything is kind of, at a standstill at the moment, because we're still kind of working off of the official omnibus budget that hasn't changed at the moment, so,
So we still have to go with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
so, in executive session, we can brainstorm some ideas of how we can make that happen. So,
Okay, so, let's keep our 2 PM meetings then for this week and next week.
Okay.
Because I just feel like having an executive session on the same day that we're meeting with, I think we should have it. But I think that if we haven't bounced ideas before then, it's too late, right before meeting with
Yeah,
FinCom.
yeah.
So I think that I at least wanna,
I mean, my
Kinda know
question
where
is,
we're
I
thinking.
would feel better having one before then, so we all can get on the same page.
Yeah, I agree.
So if there's a time where we can.
Yep.
Do that.
have just an executive session. When does Lori? I am here this week and next week. So I would be good to have an executive session with the 3 of us to
I think
discuss.
Val,
I am not here next week.
You're not
Yeah.
here next week.
today is Wednesday. We can do something Friday morning, executive session, and post tomorrow morning, and we'll have it like Friday at like 10 AM.
I can't do that.
Oh, okay.
I can't do Friday. I'm taking a knitting class in Harrisville,
What time, or,
9 to 4.
oh, it's a whole day, okay.
So I need to be out of here by 8 AM.
Hmm.
We
could
have,
do
it's
morning.
2. Because we're meeting with joint Thursday night, but it's too late to post for before that.
Yeah, we could do it Thursday night.
But it's too late to post.
Yeah, it's too late to post.
I mean, what is the justification for emergency meeting posting? Because I know FinCom did it
Certainly
before the
FinCom
budget.
did it.
Mm,
You know what the justification is?
well, I know,
I
I know you are away, can you steal yourself away for a couple hours and still have
I
good enough self-service?
that's the question.
Yeah.
I can't guarantee that I'm gonna have service.
Ah, okay.
I'm not in a location where,
Because you don't even need video, you just
Yeah.
need to call in, so as long as
Yeah.
you have a good voice connection.
I don't know where you're going,
Yeah,
but
don't-
I understand
don't always.
completely, where you have to drive to a certain spot.
And
Yeah.
hope that nobody else is there.
Yeah.
I mean, we could have the executive session, now you're talking June 2nd, which is only a day before the,
I feel like I would really like to see if there's any way we can do it before then.
yeah.
I just think that, I'll meet with you, Nelson, so you'll know where I'm standing on
I
stuff.
just don't want there to be any serial
Yeah,
if I meet with you also, so.
You just need to take some time to figure out your situation, where you're gonna be if,
I don't think I'm gonna have
Okay.
service. That's if I had to, 90% sure.
by the way, my Starlink, satellite came today, so you can borrow it if you want. That's perfect, it was on sale and,
I can
arrived.
imagine the
Yeah.
commentary if I'm on a Zoom in a tent.
Right.
With my unwashed hair and.
You don't even need to be on video, you can just,
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so.
Yeah.
So we can't have an emergency meeting Thursday before.
I think so.
why not? The,
I can't,
Can we ask, at this point in time, right, if we were gonna try that, can we ask what the justification for it is and if we can do it.
I mean, what justification did the FinCom
We
use?
could find out in the morning.
Yeah. if you want to
Yeah,
ask.
and if we can, let's do that on Thursday night after we meet with,
Or before,
or before, well,
we can do it.
I have a TAHT meeting at 4. I have a THA meeting at 6.
Oh, yeah, so it would have to be afterwards.
So it would have to be, so this is at 7:30, so.
And that, I mean, that's not a bad time to do it because we'll have whatever Board of Health has proposed for
Right,
solid waste also.
I mean, it could be in the afternoon on Thursday.
I can do Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, can we see what, if we can? I personally think this is kind of critically important.
And we're all out of town at different times between now and.
And
that
I would
meeting.
feel worse about if it was an open meeting, but being as is an executive session,
Mhm,
so it won't be released until later as is.
right.
Okay, what about Friday evening?
I can do Friday evening, 5 o'clock on. My class is 9 to 4. I'm learning brioche.
You'll be back or available afterwards?
Yeah, oh yeah. And Saturday, we were gonna do a Saturday FinCom thing.
I would rather not do Saturday. if
Then let's
possible.
not do Saturday, let's do Friday evening.
Yeah, why don't we do that?
I'm okay with that.
That's fine.
Okay.
And we can do 5
On
o'clock.
Friday evening, meeting.
Yeah.
Do I have anything on Friday?
And
I don't.
Do
So,
you wanna add the warrant article discussion then for the special town meeting?
oh, that closes on Friday, doesn't it?
it does.
I was gonna give you a placeholder probably tomorrow after, or Thursday, Friday morning. Actually, Friday, after our meeting, TAHG meeting.
Well, if you know what the placeholder is, you can just tell me tomorrow or whenever.
Okay.
You don't have to wait until
I wanted to
Friday.
get a vote from the board before I turned it in, and we're meeting on the 22nd, so.
Okay. So speaking of special town meeting articles, I noticed there wasn't anything here, so I assume we can't really talk about it.
Oh, we could do it in town administrator updates.
Oh, wait, for me, it was more of,
Are we
Oh,
done
'cause-
with the omnibus?
think so.
As long as we get that scheduled.
So
So
Friday,
Friday
what
at
time?
5 p.m. executive session.
And you have the wording for union and non-union. Right, yeah.
Union and non-union, yeah.
Two executive sessions?
No, it could be as
It can be the
one.
same one, I think, right?
Yeah,
Just one.
well, one executive session meeting for 2 reasons.
Okay.
Yay.
So my question about the special town meeting was,
So we're at 5.1, town administrator updates.
was we usually, vote, to, sign them out of session, contingent upon, town council review. I obviously don't have anything for you to review. Is that still something that's allowable, or we really should be doing it on maybe Friday instead?
Yeah, let's do it Friday.
Okay.
Do we have any articles in yet?
We have one. There's potentially another one, as a result of Thursday's meeting
Right.
regarding the trash and the revolving fund. Let's see. I think that's it at the moment. But again, I don't have anything to show you. So, but I think by Friday at 5. Yeah.
Okay, so let's put that on for a regular.
Okay.
We can do that and then do the exec session. That'll work.
And for that session, I think I'll be joining remotely.
for the exec session?
Yeah, the one
Do we
on
wanna-
Friday.
Do we want to do it all remote?
I think so.
And, are we doing it through TCAM, or do you want me to set up a Zoom link?
We need to go through TCAM, I think, because there's a portion that's open, the special town
Oh,
meeting.
yeah, that's right.
So
So-
that part has to be open.
Okay,
So, yep,
Yeah.
it'll be through TCAM.
I agree.
So, okay, so we have pretty much all day tomorrow to submit the agenda, but let's not wait until 3:45 to submit it.
Especially, yeah.
Oh, wait, oh, no, the clerk's office is open tomorrow. Okay, I think that's, oh, sounds like a plan. More updates from the TA. The highway is doing some paving work starting today. Hillside Drive and Greenville Road, which actually, the select board approved that maybe a month and a half ago. Those were the streets that highway had isolated for the spring round of paving. South Street and Warren Road will be for the late summer, early fall, and that pretty much will have exhausted our Chapter 90 funding for the year.
Does that include the additional amount for towns that MMA talked about at that conference? Or is there another round of funding that comes out with the budget? Was part of Mara Healy was the speaker?
Yeah, she was looking to increase the Chapter 90 funding for certain cities and towns.
Yeah,
I
I think
don't-
we were part of that.
We did get a bump. I don't know if that's included in this. If it's not, then, there's plenty of streets and roads that would need work.
Okay.
So
I was just curious if we had, if
You
that,
guys can come down my road.
yeah, it's I know a lot of roads and streets, especially the smaller ones, are in pretty rough shape. But we'll, I'm sure it's on the highway's radar, but there's really only so much we can do with our
right,
limited funds that we have. And, I think that was all the updates I had.
then moving on, reports from board liaisons, anything to report? I don't think I have anything from public safety.
A couple little things, but I don't think it's anything that needs a report at the moment.
Oh, we all went to the ribbon cutting ceremony at the water treatment plant this morning. I think it was a lovely event.
It was very nice.
Fantastic, array of speakers that, I think the common theme was, we all did this as a community, as a team, as a group. And we have a state-of-the-art facility that I think will serve Townsend for many years to come.
Yeah, it's great.
Yep.
Great building. So. I'm glad we were there.
Mhm.
I think the superintendent, if anybody wasn't able to go today, you can email him and someone will show you around.
Right.
Mhm.
He had their Facebook page, I think,
Yeah.
had something posted about how if you
Yeah.
want to tour the building, this is how you do it.
Yeah.
So.
Mhm.
Anything else? Announcements, communications, volunteer response forms. Volunteer list is up under Human Resources on the website. It used to be on a thing like this, but it isn't there anymore.
It is, it's under, let me just see.
You have to go to Human Resources.
And then, you
Should
have
be like a
to,
scrolling banner on the first page.
Yeah, it had been one of the buttons going across at the top on the main page.
yeah, it's under,
And
once
it
you're
was
in,
moved.
once you're in, yeah, once you're in HR, it's on the left-hand side, it's volunteer opportunities. And then, you will see the whole list of all the various boards and committees that have vacancies.
So when did that get moved off of the banner? It was on the, I don't know if banner is the technical word for it, but it was on the, like, if you go to home, and you,
If you scroll down, there's a jobs and volunteering. Oh,
it was
yeah, the
here, it was
circle.
on one of these buttons.
Yeah, it's the fifth one. So I can see it, but I think it's because my resolution,
Oh, yeah,
so,
okay, yeah, got it, good, it's still there then.
Where is it? I don't see it.
It's these buttons,
the little circles.
and it's the fifth one. So you have to go over.
Yeah, I see it. It's there.
So it is there.
But we actually did get a volunteer response form for ZBA,
Really? Oh, good.
Colby.
It's not stamped in yet by the town clerk.
Oh, good. Okay.
But I was tickled actually when I saw it. I was like, yes, I really was, and it's something that Colby seems to enjoy. I actually spoke to him briefly about it at the
At the
treatment.
reception.
Yeah.
Good.
So I told him I was pleasantly surprised and happy to see that he's willing to volunteer some of his time, for and
For the town.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
So,
great.
Yep.
Good. All right, I don't have any more announcements or communications. We already did Memorial Day, so, moving on to 5.4, next meeting is joint meeting with the Board of Health and the FinCom on Thursday at 5:22 at 7:30.
Is it just the Board of Health? Because FinCom's meeting at 6.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
FinCom is before us. They're not part of ours.
Correct.
So it's just with the Board of Health. And then our next regular meeting is, June 3rd at 6 p.m.
We do have a cycle meeting this Friday.
And yes, Friday at 5 p.m., the one that we just set up. So the 23rd.
Sabrina has her hand up.
Oh,
So
yeah.
no meeting on 5/27, right?
I'm sorry, say that again?
No meeting on the 27th.
No meeting on the
No.
27th, no.
2 out of the 3 members will be unavailable.
Like I said, I can take styling and go from a dentist.
I plan to fire it up tomorrow, so I'll let you know how it goes.
My family might kill me.
Did you get that so you can zoom in here from anywhere?
I just like technology, and it's really not much bigger than this piece of paper, the footprint. I mean, it's obviously thicker,
Yeah,
but it's pretty incredible,
wow,
and it was on sale, so I was like, all right, should
perfect.
give it a try.
All right, so those are our next 3 meetings. Is there a motion to review and sign payroll and bills payable warrants out of session?
I move to review and sign payroll and bills payable warrants out of session.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
And with that, is there a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn at 7:58 p.m.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.